Thursday night. Got the demon bag. A lot of people out tonight. I was noticing that today. Over on Trujillo, it's packed. I just did a video coming up here, but it ended up being about Hawaiian history. And every time I make a video that talks about Hawaiian history, when I get it in editing, I'm always like, I can't do this. I can't say this stuff. Because it's just a lot of like disappointing shit. You know, that there's not a lot of heroes in Hawaiian history. A lot of disappointment. A lot of like, oh, why didn't they do something? Or, oh, why'd they do that? Or, oh, why? And then you look like some kind of hater or something. And I don't want to do that. I never have like I said before, I made a video recently about how don't approach me if you're a male, not disabled and under 65. That didn't apply to Islanders. I always get time for locals, Islanders, always give me a cigarette. And, but there's just this real douchebag today. Gave him a cigarette and then he proceeded to clown on me about being a haole as he's driving away, though. You know, that must be added. On his bike. He looked like he looked like a giant turd on a unicycle. It's funny because a lot of these guys are really big, you know, but and not big like muscly, you know, just big. But so it just kind of pissed me off, and I started going into Hawaiian history, and like as if to say, well, why are you mad at me? Because you guys could have did this, you could have did that, you gave away this, you gave away that. You know, I had to bring up the specter of the day they took the islands and there were no injuries or deaths. Similar thing happened with my people, the Irish. Same people tried to take our island. That shit's still going on. A lot of bloodshed over the decades. Bloody guerrilla warfare. It's terrible. I don't talk about that because it's not my place. The troubles, you know. But very different responses to having the Brits show up and say this is ours. There's what happened in Ireland, and then there's no response, which is what happened here. So it's like I got down this trail, and I know people watching it, they just hear the words and they can't really. Emotions can run high and they miss the context and they think, oh, I'm just hating on. I'm not, you know, I'm just stating facts, you know. A lot of people don't know history, the Hawaiian history here. I happen to know a lot about it, you know, so I don't know. Anyway, moving on to other things. Yeah, the country's under attack. You seeing those cows that they just fucking melted? They just burned them all, you know, because they want to. I mean, it's obvious to anyone that's looking at us. They want to be able to control every aspect of life, the food you eat. So right now, I mean, the food, the air, the water, the everything, but the food's being attacked right now, right? I mean, you know, they got to. They want to be in control of all the production because that way they can bottleneck it if they have to. They can make a bottleneck, you know. It's funny. I was watching Charles Carroll. Was an older thing, but he was talking about milk, right? Like raw milk and how it's illegal, you know, which is crazy. Because the reason they don't want you drinking it is because it has all the nutrients in it. It's not pasteurized, it's not this and that. And they tell you they need all this stuff. They don't need this stuff. But yeah, a good thing like to watch from him is there are people that clip his streams. They do these like clip channels for him. They're great to watch because he talks about, you know, the same stuff I talk about here. But he's a lot more angry than I am. I don't know if he has God, like if he's a God guy. Now, if I didn't, I would be like him. I would be just as angry as he is. You know, I'd be yelling the way he is. And I think I'm just trying to figure out which way to go. Because he's the anger's funny though. You know, it's kind of funny when you listen to him. And I feel the same way about all the shit all across the board. But I have God. And that kind of changes your perspective. That's like, it lets you know that, all right, this is just a thing, and this is all gonna, it's just a thing. You know, it's gonna be okay. You know, there's a rhyme and reason to all this. You know, but if I didn't have God, and I was having, well, I wouldn't know this stuff. You wouldn't have a spiritual awakening of any kind without God. Now maybe he just, maybe he didn't have a spiritual awakening. Maybe he just like went down too many rabbit holes. I don't know, but either way, the shit's great. It's funny. You should check it out. He's part of MDE, which was $1 Million Extreme, which was a comedy show on Adult Swim about, I don't know, 8 years ago. That's a whole thing. It's a whole story. Not that we really don't have the time to get into right now. Yeah. So again, no demonic activity. You know where I could find a lot though? It's Chinatown. That's where it all started for me. That's where this whole demon thing started. Not so much the spiritual awakening stuff. Like that happened. Well, that happened kind of because of it. So it is all connected, but the spiritual awakening stuff happened a little bit over time. The actual demon interface shit started down in Chinatown. And it's like there's so much misery there in that area. There's so much depression, anger, sadness, violence, that it's like this vortex that just keeps feeding itself from all the low vibrational shit coming off the people. You know, you create everything. You create your own prison. You create the energy around you. Me and Nia were talking about today, like, she's being pissed off by people. You know, like, she's getting aggravated with people. And she's like, I feel like when you start getting aggravated by someone, the next person gets you twice as aggravated. And I'm like, yeah, it's like a spiral. Because you put yourself in that kind of frequency where you'll start drawing negativity toward you. You know, if you let someone piss you off or annoy you, your whole like vibrational frequency changes. Like you'd be in a room, like at a job or something, and everybody's clowning around, having a good time. Fucking boss walks in, and it's like just shit changes because he's in a bad mood. Everybody stiffens up. You can affect all the people around you. You know, just by what frequency you're on, by what mood you're in, by what you're putting out. You know, we're receivers. These bodies are antennas, and they just receive. We're susceptible to someone with a strong signal. If someone's really angry about something or feeling a certain type of way, you can pick up on that. And then if they're, you know, if they're pushing out disco, all of a sudden your rock show turns into Studio 54. You know, there's nothing you can do about it because we're just susceptible to that. Some people are more sensitive than others. I'm one of those kind of people. I have a hard time on a bus. You know, it's just too many signals too close together in one place. It's raining a little bit. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this much longer. All it takes is one drop to get in here, and that's it. But yeah, you can just by what you put out is what you get back. I know that's like a hackney kind of like a bumper sticker thing, but it's true. When I come out of the house like in a bad mood or pissed off about something, you know, they see online or something. That's why I try not to spend too much time looking at things that are gonna annoy me, because it makes me think the world's a certain way, and I carry that with me out here, and the world is not that. The world is the way. It's your perception, okay? And this sounds like hippy-dippy stuff, but it's true. Your perception is going to be how the world is. If you go out there thinking, you know, all this negative stuff, that's all you're going to attract. That's all you're going to attract, you know? It's a mental game. You know, you have to be aware of this shit, that it's happening all the time. But you don't want to be overwhelmed by it and have to control what you're doing. Because if you do, man, you'd fucking never leave the house, you know? I noticed too, like, whenever I spend a lot of time in the house, like maybe sleeping the day in or not feeling well or something, I want to stay in the house. When I first come out after that, it's a lot more difficult. It's a lot more difficult to deal, you know? And when I stay out, it's easier to deal with people. It's easier to handle things when I'm out here more, you know? I think that's just how it is. You create some kind of this fucking spellcraft here, of course, too. There's something about being in rooms. There's a reason they're square. You know, most of them are square. We don't build anything but squares anymore. Look into tesseracts, energy focus. You know, if you sit in a square all day, it affects you, you know, a certain kind of way. And if you stay in there too long, it'll make you fear coming outside. It's fucked up. And then once I cross that threshold, like once I get outside, after being in the house, I'm like, why the fuck was I in there all that time? This is so nice out here, you know? I did a thing before on doorways. And Nia put me on this path or this idea, and I looked into it and did a whole thing about passing through doorways, just doors. Going from the bathroom to the kitchen or whatever. There's a change in frequency because of the dimensions of the room. And that's why when you see a lot of older archways and stuff, they have all the, you know, a lot of them have like gargoyles and different shit around them. There's like alchemical symbols on some of the real old buildings, because when you're passing through that portal, things are changing. You're passing into a different environment. And it's a real interesting rabbit hole. Again, I think that's one of those horizontal pursuits. Horizontal pursuit is anything that's going to take you off the vertical upward trajectory to truth, understanding. When you get off the elevator, which is the vertical, going to truth or meaning or understanding, and you get off on one of those floors, you're in a horizontal situation, like politics, you know. Power doesn't move back and forth. So when I'm team blue, I'm team right, I'm team blue, you're just playing idiot ping pong, because power, truth, understanding moves vertically, not horizontally. It just makes sense. Look at a staircase or a totem pole. Where's the top? Top is the most. Up there. It's not sideways. You know, if you get off halfway up there on a floor, someone can keep going straight up, and then they're above you in truth and understanding. Talking about a lot of different things at once here. It's just, you know, thought puri, man. So puri. This stuff happens. But yeah, again, no dice with the demons. But it's Thursday. Usually Friday night and Saturday night are the most active. Again, like, you know, there's this weird thing, and this happens with just about anything. If you're trying too hard to look for something, and I'm not doing anything to bring it to me. I mean, there's definitely magical means you can do to get their attention. I'm not doing any of that shit, because yeah, I'll get their attention, but they'll have the high ground, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I just kind of have to keep my stuff with me, you know, have my gear with me, but don't exactly go around looking for that. If I run into it, good. If I don't, you know, whatever. Friday and Saturday, the most people are out, so that law of averages, running into one is better, you know. But even still, like, you know, as I talk about the problems with getting it on film, like, even if I get one, I mean, lately, since I started doing videos, like, whenever I get one, by the time I get to it, it's gone. The person's there, but the stuff fucks off and out. And they go from kibiing and freaking to just staring at me like, hey, you know, you all right? Yeah. They go away. For a while, I was like, wow, because they know who you are. You know, that's something that's, the understanding of that has changed for me. In the beginning, I thought that they worked autonomously, like a, you know, I used to describe it as like, if you're damaging them in some way in the spirit realm, or you're a person of God or whatever, you're a sliver in the skin, they react like white blood cells, and they rush to fix it. Like, they would, you know, come to me and my friend when we'd be exchanging information, they just show up, you know, all these dudes. Like white blood cells rushing to repair the cut. I thought it was anonymous, but turns out no, they know everything about you. They know everything about you. So when they would split when I'd get near them, I started thinking like, wow, I must be badass or something. Are they afraid of me? Are the demons afraid? No, it's the fucking camera. They know that there's a device there. It's like the slit test, you know, the particle test, where when the particles realized they were being viewed in some way, in this case measured, they would freeze. So on that metaphysical plane, there's a way they can tell when you can capture them, because all the demon stuff that's been captured, like on film, it's all like from a distance or incidental, or they popped up when someone wasn't looking for them. You know, I haven't really seen anything where someone has one on film, like me, like approach one in the street and they stay there. I see them from a distance. I get them on camera from a distance, but then when I get near them, they leave the body. So yeah, it has to be that situation. But it took a while to figure that out, because sometimes I'm very slow. I should have thought of that right away, but I didn't. So I thought it was maybe that they were just afraid, and I thought, well, maybe it's because I had those angel encounters, and like maybe there's some kind of protection. I don't fucking know. But no, it's the camera. They know, because they move in frequency. They move in electricity. They know what devices are on all the time. They can, you know. Another thing too, just, it's not really related, but I've been talking to my wife a lot about melatonin. No, about Benadryl. I think we were talking about that doing a video a few mornings ago. And I'm noticing today when I'm looking at my YouTube, all these videos are coming up about, is Benadryl safe? Taking Benadryl? Because your phone listens to you. They say it's so that it can advertise to you better. But yeah, it's recording everything you're saying. You know? So, I mean, it's kind of funny, like but it is selective about what it's going to show you, because if it indeed does record everything you're saying, I would have a very problematic timeline. very, very problematic. Very problematic. Don't blame the teacher, blame the school.